This video was made from the perspective of an INFJ who has dealt with trauma. INFJs are sensitive individuals and therefore they are more prone to being affected by stressful situations. In this video, I want to talk about how INFJs deal with trauma. First, they may isolate themselves from friends and family. It can be difficult for INFJs to deal with trauma, as they may isolate themselves from friends and family. This can lead to feeling overwhelmed and anxious, which can make it difficult to cope. It is important for INFJs to seek out support, whether that means talking to a therapist or another INFJ, as this will help them process their emotions and move on from the traumatic event. Second, they may become reclusive or withdraw from social activities. Some individuals who identify as INFJs may become reclusive or withdraw from social activities after experiencing trauma. This is likely due to the feeling of overwhelm and fear that can accompany a traumatic event. INFJs are typically very introspective and analytical, so they may be struggling to process what has happened in their life and cope with the emotions that come with it. Third, they may have difficulty sleeping or concentrating. INFJs can often struggle with trauma in the form of flashbacks, nightmares, and intrusive thoughts. They may have difficulty sleeping or concentrating, and may feel overwhelmed by the memory or fear. INFJs may also find it difficult to talk about their experiences, as they may worry that others will not understand or will judge them. In order to cope with trauma, INFJs may need to seek out support from friends or family members who understand their struggles and can offer helpful advice or listening ears. Fourth, they may have flashbacks, nightmares, or intense anxiety attacks. An INFJ may experience trauma in different ways, depending on their individual personality type. They may have flashbacks, nightmares, or intense anxiety attacks after a traumatic event. INFJs typically rely heavily on intuition and emotions when making decisions, so this type of emotional response can be difficult for them to manage. They may find it difficult to communicate with others about what they're feeling because they don't want to relive the experience again. It's important for INFJs to find supportive resources, such as therapy or support groups, in order to cope with their trauma and heal emotionally. Fifth, they may develop depression or other mood disorders. INFJs may develop depression or other mood disorders in response to trauma. This is likely due to the INFJ's strong tendency towards introversion and the INFJ's propensity for processing and dealing with traumatic events internally. Because of this, they may find it difficult to communicate with others about what has happened, and may become withdrawn or have difficulty concentrating or sleeping. Sixth, they may have a decreased interest in life or daily activities. There may be a decreased interest in life or daily activities for INFJs who have experienced traumatic events. They may feel like they can't go on, or that everything is pointless. They may become reclusive and withdrawn, or resort to self-medicating with substances or alcohol. INFJs are usually incredibly compassionate people, so it can be difficult for them to cope with this type of trauma. It is important for them to find a support system of friends and family who can help them through the process of healing. Seventh, they may feel like they can't cope with life and are considering suicide. There can be a lot of different ways that an INFJ may deal with trauma, depending on their personality type and individual personalities. As an INFJ, it may feel like you can't cope with life. You may feel like you're not good enough and that everything is going to fall apart. This can lead to feelings of depression and suicidal thoughts. It's important to get help if you're feeling this way, as it can be difficult to cope on your own. You may also find it helpful to talk about your feelings with a trusted friend or family member. In the meantime, there are many resources available that can help you cope with trauma and stay alive. Eighth, they may have a change in eating habits, becoming anorexic or bulimic. Some INFJs may experience a change in eating habits, becoming anorexic or bulimic. This may be due to the trauma they have experienced. They may feel like they need to restrict their food intake in order to deal with the emotions associated with the trauma. Ninth, they may develop withdrawal symptoms such as irritability, anger outbursts, and addictive behaviors. Most INFJs deal with trauma in different ways. Some may develop withdrawal symptoms such as irritability, anger outbursts, and addictive behaviors. Others may find comfort and support in their community or from family and friends. It is important to remember that everyone experiences trauma differently, and there is no one right way to deal with it. 10th, their relationships with others may change as they become more distant and less communicative. Many individuals with introverted intuition, INFJs, may struggle in close relationships. Their relationships with others may change as they become more distant and less communicative. INFJs often have a deep need for personal space and may be uncomfortable opening up to others. This can lead to a decrease in communication and intimacy within the relationship. In some cases, INFJs may find themselves withdrawing from social interactions altogether due to the trauma they experience. It is important for those around an INFJ to be understanding and supportive, even if they do not share in the same experiences or feelings as the individual. 11th, INFJs may find it difficult to communicate with others about their trauma and may feel isolated. Many INFJs struggle to communicate about their trauma and may feel isolated. They often find it difficult to express themselves and can be overwhelmed by the emotions associated with the event. INFJs often seek out refuge in their intellect, which can help them process and understand the traumatic experience. However, this process can also be isolating and lead to feelings of detachment from others. 12th, INFJs may find it difficult to trust others again after a traumatic event. For INFJs, it can be difficult to trust others again after a traumatic event. This is because for INFJs, trust is based on understanding and mutual respect. After a traumatic event, the INFJ may find it difficult to build trust again with anyone due to the fear of being hurt again. In order to cope with this difficulty, they may need to find outlets such as self-care or therapy in order to rebuild their trust in others.